Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin continues to move in this triangle pattern. Sorry, not triangle, it is consolidation pattern, but it could turn into a triangle. That's what I wanted to communicate. I mean, essentially, it is possible that a third wave topped in December, right? And that we are already in a fifth wave after wave 4 bottomed around the 13th of January. But overall, until we really get a sustained break above the January high, this could still morph and transform. I mean, there are more than 10 different corrective wave structures from an Elliott Wave point of view. And therefore, whenever we're dealing with corrections and not impulsive structures, you will see a lot of different wave counts, different structures. If you ask 5 analysts, they might give you 5 different answers, and they might all be valid, especially if the move to the upside is not impulsive. You will get those who think that the move from the August low is indeed an impulse, which it probably isn't. Then you will get those who give you a wave count for a diagonal, as I do. But diagonals can be interpreted in different ways as well, even though this one is quite clear. Needs to be some kind of a wave 4 here if we get another high anyway. So then you will get those who give you different counts for microstructures here in the correction, which is completely understandable as well, given that these corrections, there are more than 10 different corrective wave patterns anyway, right? And then with regards to the diagonal, if you understand what Elliott Wave is, then you understand that in a diagonal, the subwaves are corrections as well. And I just told you that there are more than 10 different corrective patterns. So when we talk about like a correction within a diagonal, then again, you have all sorts of different options. So it is just tricky to get to the perfect count, which is why I always say the one count or the perfect count just doesn't exist. Analysts who look for this, they usually are caught in, what should I say, in an academic exercise, right? And that really doesn't make any sense from a trading point of view. We always want to get to a wave count that makes sense for trading. I'm very much a fan of a pragmatic approach when it comes to Elliott Wave, not an overly academic approach. Yeah, you will find those who spend time, hours and hours and hours to discuss the smallest microstructures, which can be fine from an educational point of view. I do this as well, but it's just important to do it with the right perspective, not to assume this is necessarily the right count, but just do it from an educational point of view and understand that when we're dealing with structures like these here, the counts will change very often until the market really has shown its hand, which it hasn't done yet, not on the micro level, because we're dealing with very messy back-to-back corrective price action. So it is a frustrating range in which we're moving, and I say that because I just want to help you understand that this could still morph into, for example, a triangle or a larger wave 4. So the current idea is that a larger degree fourth wave bottomed in August, and we're now in a fifth wave. For me, the main question is, do we get another high in this cycle, which I'm leaning to? That would be the wave 5 to the upside in wave 5. Main question is here, has the wave 4 already bottomed? Possibly, that's what I'm tracking, but I'm not necessarily super confident about it, okay? So I would not be surprised if, for example, this wave 4 morphs into a triangle. This is, of course, possible. We could say this is an A wave down, B wave up, C wave down, D wave up, E wave down, and we do this. But essentially, would it really make a difference? Yeah, from a practical point of view, not really, because in a triangle we would not break below the January low anyway. So it's one potential, but it wouldn't really change structure. But I wanted to mention again the concept of a triangle. I mentioned that before, but we need a little bit more evidence for that. I think for now it's a possibility. But when it comes to corrective wave patterns, I don't want to show all possibilities, because then we're going to sit here tomorrow still to discuss corrections. And it's also possible that the wave 4 is still extending a little lower, possibly towards 82K. That would just be a wider wave 4, for example, in a double zigzag WXY structure. That's possible, yeah. Or in an ABC where the C wave is an ending diagonal. These happen quite often in crypto as well. So yeah, overall, situation hasn't really changed on the daily. Just wanted to help you a little bit understand the current structures from a psychological mindset point of view, because it is frustrating, I understand it, but see it this way. We have to give the market the time to correct. A lot of people talk about manipulation, which is normal when we're dealing with these corrections, but that's just normal for corrective patterns. People always say manipulation, but this is just normal corrective behavior. It is also important to understand that we have to give the market time, because if we don't, and the market completes its correction earlier than it would be ideal, it needs to take its time. Because if it doesn't, then it could mean that the next move up doesn't sustain the upside momentum it needs to really form that fifth wave up. So that's important. Let's talk about the smaller time frame. Before we do that, check out our main channel as well, MCO Global. Here I uploaded a video about Solana late yesterday. This is a long-term outlook. Now, this is not one of the typical Morecryptoonline rapid market outlooks. Here on the MCO Global channel, we do more deep dive analysis. We talk about mindset. We talk about geopolitical developments. I talk specifically about token unlocks there. Check it out. It's so far been our most popular video. Some of you have asked me if I will shut down the Morecryptoonline channel. No. I encourage you to watch the very first video on this channel where I explain specifically what MCO Global is about, why this channel exists. No. They will coexist, but this here is still the central hub for MCO. So if you're interested in MCO updates, anything really related to MCO, crypto updates, other markets, mindset, then check out this channel. It is linked in the video description. Also, I'll pin it to the comments section. Let's take a look at the smaller time frame here. And here really there is no change, which is why I wanted to spend a little bit more time on the daily time frame, because this is just, no change from yesterday essentially. Again, I'm tracking this as an A, B, and the C wave up, which absolutely makes sense because we're dealing with a larger diagonal structure. You've got 5 waves up in wave A. You have a clear corrective pullback in wave B. And then this here could either be a diagonal pattern to the upside, maybe an impulse. It's not entirely clear yet. If it's an impulse, then yeah, you can track it as a 1-2-1-2 setup. The support area is clearly relevant. Even if it breaks eventually, it is currently doing its job. So the wave count is absolutely reasonable here as a 1-2-1-2 setup. And 93,640 remains support. And as long as we're holding above it, the focus is on higher prices. But I'm not super convinced by it. This could easily morph. I told you it could even morph into a triangle, but even if it does, it should hold above the January low. Ideally, it even should hold above the February low, which formed here around 91,250. I still give the yellow count preference, but we see Bitcoin just morphing or moving sideways. Altcoins suffering today again. Again, none of them, I think, have really confirmed a breakout. Alchemy Pay is doing quite well, but I mentioned that in yesterday's update on Discord. But overall, these charts are still messing around a little bit and are waiting for Bitcoin to really show its hand. And of course, the white scenario is possible. And the white scenario is an ending diagonal to the downside. Happens very often in crypto. And in this scenario, maybe, just maybe, we're still working on white wave B. This is, of course, very frustrating. And again, it doesn't make sense to necessarily go really deep into the microstructures because they will morph anyway until we get a breakout. And that will frustrate a lot of people. But in the white count, for example, as you know, we've got this A, B, and then 1, 2, A, B, C, or 3, 4, 5. You could also say maybe this is going to turn into a double zigzag, which is very similar, in which we could be dealing with all different ways to count it. For example, you could say WX and then A, B, and then this could turn into some kind of a diagonal. So it's similar ways, or even a WXY, XZ. So that's why I said we don't need to necessarily try to look for the perfect count here. It's about being pragmatic, understand what are the relevant levels for risk management. And when the next impulse starts, it will be clear. Okay, until then, the market's just morphing here. but actually it hasn't changed for the last few days at all. So I'll keep you updated. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. And as I said, check out the MCO Global channel. There are also tutorials that will be uploaded here. So if you want to learn Elliott Wave, that could be a space as well for you, because I want to make sure that everybody who watches these videos understands Elliott Wave as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be next level here. So check it out. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.